Yo guys, what is good? It's Cameron from Deck Builders here, and today we'll bring you a pure Crusadia deck. Now, by no means is this the most competitive deck, but it is one of the most fun OTK decks that I've ever played with. It's not Crusadia Guardragon, which has a lot more negates and is a lot more competitive, but it is cheaper and in my personal opinion is a little more fun, a little more relaxed, a little bit easier to play than Crusadia Guardragon. So if you're ready for the deck list, if this video is going to help you at all, we would really consider hitting that like and subscribe button, as well as commenting down anything below if you like the deck, if you dislike the deck, if there's any improvements that we could make to the videos or to the deck itself, because all we want to do is bring you the best quality content possible. As you notice, we try and make our deck list as easy to understand as possible. Some of these YouTubers kind of just be like, yo, this is Draco, this is power, get this card, get that card, and you're like, you can't even see because like they're just throwing the cards down on the table. You don't know anything of what they're trying to talk about, and you're trying to go through and copy the deck, and you're like, I can't find the card. He may have nicknamed the card or whatever. So in this channel, we just try to eliminate that. But with that, obviously, it does take a little bit more time to make the videos. So as I said, we do really appreciate likes, subscribes, and comments. But pretty much how this Crusadia OTK works is you take advantage of this strategy called link climbing. So all the Crusadia monsters are going to have an effect where that you can special summon a Crusadia monster to a zone a link monster points to. So what you do is you normal summon a monster, then you link it to a link 1, then you special summon a Crusadia to the zone that the link monster points to. Then you're going to be able to link that into a link 2, special summon a Crusadia monster to the zone that that link monster points to, then go to a link 3, and special summon it into a zone that that monster points to, and you're going to have a really strong OTK combo. Now this deck also takes advantage of a lot of field spells such as Mystic Mind when you have a bad hand. It takes advantage of the kaijus, which are also insane in this deck by setting them up in certain positions. You can literally deal 10,000 damage to a defense position monster in one attack. Or if they've got a few different monsters with high attack, you can deal like 4,000. You can attack all the monsters at once, and you've even got one negate if they have a mirror force or something like that you're going to be able to take advantage of. So this is a really fun, interesting deck that I really do enjoy playing with, especially if I've taken a few losses. I'm not really feeling it, I'm just feeling like messing around. I go into a Crusadia and I just have some fun. You know, if I lose with Crusadia, it's alright, but I can get a lot of second turn wins, OTKs, and they do make you feel good. So let's get into the deck list.
Okay, so first we're running 3 copies of Crusadia Maximus. Now this card effect is obviously all the Crusadia monsters have this first part of the effect, which is you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position to a zone a link monster points to. You can only special summon one Crusadia Maximus once per turn this way. So all the Crusadia monsters don't have this effect, but then Maximus has the effect that you can target one Crusadia link monster you control this turn, and when it battles an opponent monster, any battle damage it inflicts is doubled. So this is one of the best card effects of all the Crusadia monsters, and it definitely makes it probably the strongest Crusadia monster you don't want to finish your combos with. So the next Crusadia monster we're running is 3 copies of Crusadia Draco. Now the effect of this monster is obviously the Crusadia effect, and if this card is normal summoned or special summoned to a zone a link monster points to, you can target one Crusadia monster in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. So this is really good for getting more cards back in your hand, and you can finish off the combo with the card that you've already sent to the graveyard. So Crusadia Draco is really good. It's also a major part of the Crusadia Guardragon combo, so obviously this is a good card. Next, we're running 3 copies of Crusadia Arborea. Now when this card is in your graveyard and a Crusadia monster would be destroyed, you can just banish this monster from your graveyard instead. Next, we're running 3 copies of Crusadia Leonis, which is also one of the stronger monsters you want to finish your combo with, as you can target one Crusadia link monster and it will inflict piercing damage to defense position monsters. So combine this with Maximus, you're doing double damage to a defense position monster. That's OP. Next, we're running 3 copies of Crusadia Reclusia. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that, but this is our last Crusadia monster. It has kind of a strange effect, and that is If this card is normal or special summon to a zone a link monster points to, you can target one Crusadia monster you control and one card your opponent controls, destroy them. You can only use the effect of Crusadia Regulus once per turn. Now this is an effect that I use a whole lot. I really just use it to summon and get rid of it, to be honest. But if you've got a card that you really need to get rid of, then you can obviously use that. Next we're going into our mini kaiju engine and we're running one copy of Thunder King the Lightning Strike Kaiju, one copy of Gamma Seal the Sea Turtle Kaiju, and one copy of Doggoron the Mad Flame Kaiju. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that either. Pretty much what these kaijus are going to allow you to do is you can either get rid of one of your opponent's big monsters, you can put them in a zone that one of the Crusadia monsters points to, and then you can also special summon to your side of the field, and then you just have a monster with like 10,000 plus attacks. It's super OP. So that's really what we just use the kaijus for. We're also going to run the field spells so you could use their effects if you want to. Next we're going to use one Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, which if you draw you contribute for Draco, get Draco back. There's a lot of possible combinations that you can use for Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. It is one of the best dragon cards in the game, so that's why it's in the deck. Next we run Triple Effect Veiler. This is our only hand trap. Obviously if someone activates a monster effect you can negate it. It's pretty self-explanatory. Next we're running Double Kaiju Waterfront. Now this is the kaiju field spell. It is probably one of the most useful cards in this deck because it allows you to search for a kaiju. It also allows you to use your kaiju card effects. And with this deck, you add a counter every time you send a card to the graveyard. And because you're using this link climbing strategy, you're sending a lot of cards to the graveyard. So it's really easy to get those 5 counters in one turn. Next, we're running one copy of Black Garden, which is good against a couple of the decks. Like really good against a couple of decks. It's also just annoying for your opponent. Or it also benefits you. You can use the counters or whatever. You use set rotation to get this card out. It's not too bad. Next we're using one copy of Crusadia Revival, which is really easy to search through your Link 2 monster, which is Crusadia Regulax. We'll get to that later. But this field spell is overpowered. All the field spells in this deck are just so good. But all Crusadia Link monsters on the field gain 500 attack. Once per turn you can target one Crusadia Link monster you control, and then it can attack all monsters on the field, all monsters that your opponent controls, obviously. So combine that with Crusadia Maximus, which doubles the damage that's dealt, and then combine that with Crusadia Leonis, you're dealing double damage, you're doing piercing damage, and you can attack all monsters. It's GG, OTK, say goodbye. One copy of Mystic Mind. All I'm going to say is this card wins games. And then one copy of Terraforming. Obviously we're running so many field spells, it's good to get that field spell searcher. And then one copy of Set Rotation. It's literally just another Terraforming, but you can send one to your opponent as well. Next we run one copy of Reinforcements of the Army. It allows you to search for Arborea. It just allows you to search for another Crusadia monster. One copy of World Legacy Succession. It's pretty much just a monster revive, but for this deck. Next we're running one copy of Crusadia Power. It allows one Crusadia monster you control, and it's unaffected by card effects except its own for that turn. Next we're running one copy of Crusadia Testament. Now this card is super overpowered, but we don't really care about the first effect. It's the second effect that matters. After damage calculation, if your Crusadia Link monster destroys an opponent monster by battle, draw cards equal to that monster's Link rating. So if you destroy a card with equal max, which you will, and let's say you don't get the OTK somehow, you draw 3 cards, so it's a +3. Next we run 2 copies of Called by the Grave. This is going to prevent you from getting hand trapped, which is obviously good considering if they negate one of our special summons, we're kind of screwed. Next we're running triple instant fusion that you can use on Thousand Eyes restricted, and that's going to allow you to special summon a card into the spot the link zone's pointing to. It's going to allow you to activate all those effects, you can link off with it, and you can also get rid of one of your opponent's monsters. Now for our last 2 cards, they're both trap cards. We're running one copy of Crusadia Vanguard and one copy of Crusadia Crawler. So that's going to be it for our 40 card main deck, and it contains 22 monsters, 16 spells, and 2 trap cards. So next we're going into our extra deck. We're running 3 copies of Crusadia Mages. Now the Crusadia Mages gains attack equal to the original attack of the monster this card points to. Now all the Crusadia link monsters are going to have this effect where you can gain attack equal to the monster that the card points to, but Crusadia Mages has the effect of when an effect monster is special summoned to the zone this card points to, you can add one Crusadia monster from your deck to your hand. You can only activate the effect of Crusadia Mages once per turn. So this is going to give you a free +1 where you're getting any Crusadia monster that you need. If you need Maximus to do double damage or whatever, or you need Draco to add another card back to your hand, you can get that card. Next we're running our Link 2, which is Crusadia Regulax. Now this pretty much has the same effect as Crusadia Mages, but instead of adding a monster card to the hand, you're adding a spell or trap card to the hand. Next we're running 3 copies of Crusadia Equamax. This is your end turn, okay? This is, you got this card on the board and I'm about to destroy you. You pair this card up with Crusadia Maximus and then Crusadia Leonidas. You have a card with over 4,000 attack points or 5,000 attack points that does double damage, and you can do damage to your defense position monsters. Also, you can destroy one of the cards that this card points to, and you can negate a card effect when a face-up card is activated. So you can negate anything with this card. So now we're running 1 copy of Crusadia Sparta. Now this is more to do with the Guardragon combo that you can do, as well as the next card, but it's a good card, okay, you can do a lot with it. Then we're running 1 copy of Guardragon elpy. Again, this is part of the Guardragon combo that you can still kind of do with this deck, but you don't need some more expensive cards to make it really work. Now I'm running 3 copies of Thousand Eyes Restricted. You could run Thousand Eyes Millennium, but he's really expensive. Thousand Eyes Restricted is the cheaper version, and you don't use instant fusion to get him out for free. Get rid of one of their cards and then you can link him out. So we are selling this total deck in the description, and it's only $90 free postage. I think this is a pretty good cheap OTK deck, so if you're interested to buy it, please buy it from the link in the description. And obviously it does support us out a lot. Obviously we make videos for free right now, we don't monetize, so it does help us out a lot. But either way, now on to the more expensive extra deck options that we're not going to include. These cards are really overpowered, but they cost more than the entire deck combined for like these 4 cards. So you can get these cards, but they're not required to be a good deck. Now most of these cards are part of the Guardragon combo, which you can activate with this deck. It's perfectly set up for the Guardragon combo, but you just need these more expensive link monsters. That's why we don't really go into it. So we're running 1 copy of Triple Burst Dragon, 1 copy of Saraju's Skull Dread, which is obviously just such an overpowered card. It's been such a good card for such a long time. Next, we're running 1 copy of Mech Knight Crusadia Avramax, which is a really good card again, but you have to go to your link 3 and then you just use one of your other cards, go into your link 1 and then summon Mech Knight Crusadia Avramax. With this card, when you activate Crusadia Testament, you're actually gaining a +4 card advantage, which is obviously really good. So now we're going to go into the combo. This is what I call link climbing. So what you don't need to do for this overpowered OTK is you don't need 1 Crusadia Maximus plus just any other random Crusadia monster. That's all you need, and you've pretty much got an OTK most of the time. There's going to be more overpowered hands that you can get, but this is all you really need for your base setup. So we're going to summon 1 Crusadia Maximus. You have to summon the Crusadia Maximus first, so you can special summon it later, because the monster you special summon, you're only going to be able to special summon that monster once per turn. Then we're going to link summon into our Crusadia Mages using our Crusadia Maximus. Now then we're going to use our other Crusadia monster to special summon to the spot that Mages points to. Now you can use any card, but just know if you have enough cards and you want to save like Leonis or something towards the end, save it. Don't use it if you have another Crusadia monster, but if you don't, just use it. Then we're going to use Crusadia Mages' effect to get Crusadia Draco from the deck to the hand. If you already have Draco in your hand, get like Leonis, or if you didn't have Maximus, get Maximus, one of those 2 cards. Now you're going to link whatever you have in the field to our link 2, which is Crusadia Regulax. Then we're going to special summon our Draco or whatever else you have if you already use Draco to our zone that Regulax points to. Then we're going to be able to use our Regulax to add Crusadia Revival to the hand from the deck, which is our field spell. We're also going to use Draco to add back our Crusadia Maximus from our grave to our hand. Then we're going to use our Draco and Regulax to go into our Crusadia Equimax, which is our final link monster. And because we normal summoned Maximus, we're going to be able to special summon him to the zone the Equimax points to. Now we're going to activate Crusadia Revival and target Equimax, so he's going to have an extra 500 attack, as well as he's going to be able to attack every monster your opponent controls. Now we're also going to activate Maximus's effect on Equimax, and now he's going to do double damage. So we have used 2 cards from our hand, 2 Crusadia monsters, and we ended up with a Crusadia Equimax that has 4100 attack, can attack all monsters on the field, and does double damage. So some other things you could have done if you had Kaiju of the Waterfront when you drew it. For your first 5 cards, you could have activated that at the start, gone through your combo, then you could have got an extra Kaiju monster out, and then when you're ready, just get rid of Kaiju Waterfront by activating Crusadia Revival, and then you're potentially going to have 1 or 2 Kaiju monsters in your hands. Now, if you only have 1, you can special summon that Kaiju to your opponent's side of the field and put it in the zone that Equimax is pointing to. So that means Equimax is going to gain the attack of the Kaiju monster. So it doesn't matter how many it has. Equimax is going to have a plus 4100 attack on that card. If it's doing double damage, that's 8000 life points right there. 8200 life points and it's GG. Or if you're going to be super overkill, then you can summon the other Kaiju back to your side of the field to the other zone that Equimax points to. And then you've got an extra 2000, 3000 attack, and then you're doing like 10,000 or 11,000 life points. Also, if you end up with Crusadia Leonis in your hand, you can get an extra plus 1200 attack, as well as you can do piercing damage to defense position monsters, which if your opponent sets up a few defense position cards, it's also a GG. Now, if you can also get Crusadia Arborea to the graveyard just by using him in the link climbing combo, then if you got him in the graveyard and something was to happen to Equimax, or they were to disrupt something and try to destroy one of your Crusadia monsters, then you can just banish him instead and you can spare the Crusadia monster.
Okay, that's the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed the video, please hit that like and subscribe button. We do really appreciate it. Also, comment down Crusadia. It does help the channel out a lot. As I said, comment down below also if you have any thoughts on the deck, what improvements you would make to the video or to the deck. We like to hear all your opinions and we do take it into consideration and try improve. But that's the end of the video. As we said, please do all that stuff and I'm out. See ya. Also, we post a deck video every single Friday, so if you want to get more decks, check them out. You can probably see some right here and right there. But we out. See ya.